All right, guys, we gotta talk. It's Sam the Happy Camper, and we are talking about this bench here. Got a couple things to go over with you guys, and you know, sometimes it's not always what it's cut out to be. But yeah, we're talking about the Keter Solana 70-gallon storage bench box. That's this thing here. Just so you guys know, the cover was separate, and then this cushion was separate. There's not much to talk about the cushion. The cushion is really cushiony. It has some little clasps in the back, and it has strapped around these plastic columns. I like that it's not little strings that you tie. It's little plastic clamps that snap together. It's made for the outdoors. And the first thing I'm going to tell you is when I got it out of the box, I was like, whoa, it's really flimsy. And it's really thin plastic. And the specifications say it can handle up to 500 pounds. I'm over 200 pounds and I'm sitting on it no problem. It's like one of those things where they engineered it to handle as much weight as possible with as little material as possible. I feel like over time the sun's gonna make this brittle and it's just gonna fall apart. And to confirm my suspicions or my fears, this happened. When I opened the box, this was already broken. So if you guys look there, it's a pretty good indent there. And it was broken in another spot as well. Back here, there is a broken spot. And that's not a good sign. It came right out of the box with a lot of styrofoam and padding and stuff like that. It's already broken. Plus a lot of where things come together, they don't match up really well. The plastic seems kind of warped. Once I started unboxing it, I was right on the edge of returning it. What I decided to do instead of returning it, because we did need something out here sooner than later, is I contacted the Keter store support. It came with the instruction manual and some support lines. So I didn't go through Amazon. They answered right away. They were super friendly and they offered to replace the broken part, which out of all the options that I had, that was the most efficient thing that we could do. They said it would take 2 weeks for the replacement part to arrive. And it actually took 3 days, maybe 4 days, but it was definitely less than a week. Plus they, like I said, they were friendly. So it was a good experience. I want to talk about the experience of building the unit. Like I said, the plastic's very flimsy. It was warped in some ways, like a little twisted, and you know, pieces that should lay flat were a little bit off. The manual has a lot of pages and it's very little steps in every page. So it is very easy to follow. I think I got the whole thing built in about an hour. A lot of the pieces snap together. I was having a hard time getting them to snap together. Sometimes I felt like I was gonna break it a few times because the instructions are a little bit tricky to understand. I had them on backwards and it wasn't snapping because it wasn't lining up properly. But eventually I got it all figured out, and there are some metal beams that are in here. One is right here, and 2 of them are not in the seat, but somewhere in this piece. That helps with rigidity and you know, strength, but the rest of it is flimsy. I don't think I could, well, if I tried hard enough, I could start breaking this apart. My concerns about the flimsiness mostly are how it's gonna wear over the long term, because it is engineered well, which means that once everything is put together, it feels pretty sturdy. I'm gonna show you something. It's about 50 pounds, and I'm definitely capable of picking up and moving 50 pounds around. So that's kind of handy, you know, but that also speaks towards how thin the plastic is. I would stand on this if I had to. Just step up and reach things. So it is strong enough to handle that. But, you know, I don't think this is going to be around for more than a year or 2. I think the plastic's going to get brittle as the sun hits it, and it's probably going to fall apart. The bottom is just a piece of cardboard. It's the plastic cardboard though, it's corrugated plastic. So yeah, they could have done better with that. This is not a unit that I would purchase again. I can't recommend it for somebody who wants something that's long-term, but it does solve our problem for now. We need somewhere where we can sit, put our shoes on, wipe the mud off, maybe throw muddy boots or shoes in here really quickly without worrying about stuff getting soaking wet. and then run into the house. It's fitting our purpose pretty well. Let me go through some of the specifications. There's 5,104 reviews as of recording this video, and it averages out to 4 stars. I don't agree with those reviews. I don't know if they're buying reviews or if people just feel inclined to leave those reviews. Right now, it's listed on Amazon for $178.99. I think we paid around that or a little bit less on sale. It says the regular price is $199. So anywhere between $200 and $160 is what I would expect they would charge for this. But if you have the budget, definitely spend more for something that's higher quality because, like I said, this was really, really thin plastic. The exterior dimensions, 54 inches long, 23 inches wide, so about 2 feet this way, and then it is 32 inches tall. I'm not worried about rain. There was some screws that were put into this. Hopefully they're rust resistant stainless steel or something like that. But other than that, everything else is plastic, so I'm not overly concerned about rusting or anything like that. I am concerned about it being in the sun and it becoming more and more brittle and it's starting to crack. But as long as it lasts about a year, I guess, we'll find another solution for down the road. It didn't come with any missing pieces. It came with a couple extra screws. So that's great. It refers to this unit as a 70-gallon storage space. It looks big enough to put 20 pairs of shoes, some tools, and some things in there. I wouldn't load it with anything very heavy. The bottom is just cheap corrugated plastic. And if it was super heavy and you try and lift it and move it, the bottom is liable to just break and fall apart. It did get put together with 12 screws on the very bottom, small ones. But plastic doesn't hold screws very well. So the screws are liable to just rip out and get stripped. I'm not planning on overloading it, but if I do have to load it with a latch, I would have to take everything out if I wanted to move it. I do like the idea that this is pretty light, and if I wanted something on the upper part of our property or maybe on the lower deck because we had some guests coming over and I wanted some more seating, that this is, even if I had to, I could move it by myself, but definitely with 2 people it'd be easy to move from one place to another. Durable and strong, sort of. It is engineered to have strength in key areas and key ways, but it's not strong in general. So I wouldn't be using this as a tool to step on and do stuff or using it outside of its intended purpose. The intended purpose is to sit, put some shoes on, and that's it. I wouldn't even recommend using it to sit long term. It's not gonna be very comfortable and I don't know, it'll probably start to bend and sag if you sit in it for too long. Extra seating provides comfortable bench seating for 2 or 3 with weight capacity of 551 pounds. 551 pounds. Okay, so if you had like 2 people that weighed 230, 235, yeah, that's reasonable, right? And they did put some metal reinforcement down somewhere in here. So it should be able to hold the weight. It's lockable, that's kind of a joke. So it does have these metal things. They're screwed in with 1 screw or 2 screws on each side of the metal clasp. So once you put a lock on there, it's not going to be hard to strip the screws that are screwed right into plastic, but also the back hinges, it's just plastic that's snapped into place. So actually without damaging anything, if I carefully wiggle the back, I could just get the back to come undone and open it that way. So this is security theater, I think is a category that they call it. And it means that maybe someone would see a lock and assume the stuff's secure in there. But I would not store any valuables in here, expecting that people aren't going to be able to get into your stuff. Versatile storage. Yeah, so it is versatile because it's light enough to move from one location to another. And 70 gallons, for whatever that counts, it is enough to put a bunch of pair of shoes in there and some other supplies or even some tools if you needed to. So versatility is pretty good. It says resin construction. It's made out of all weather resistant resin. Okay. Well, it's about as thin as it could possibly be. I guess it's weather resistant except for the sun. Does that count as weather? Because when the sun hits this repeatedly day after day, it's definitely gonna get brittle and fall apart. Okay, comfortable seating. Maybe, because we added the cushion especially, but not to like lean back on and have a conversation with somebody for 3 hours. Just to sit long enough to put your shoes on. It says that it has ventilation. I'm not sure what that means, but naturally, because of how it's built, there's cracks and air can get in and out. But it doesn't look like they intentionally added any vents or anything like that. I don't even know what you need ventilation for if you're just putting some muddy shoes in there, but that's what it says. Extra hidden storage. Okay. And then it says elegant modern design. All right, let's check that out for a second. It looks nice. It fits the space really well. For $170, roughly, I would not recommend purchasing this. Find something a little bit more expensive that's better quality. If possible, real wood or something like that. If you do need something light though, and that you can move around from place to place, especially if you're not gonna be storing stuff in it, then it's okay. And if you're just gonna be using it to sit and put shoes on and then stand back up, then it's totally fine. But this is not something to put like in place of lawn furniture. It's not relaxing. You're never gonna take a nap on this or anything like that. The plastic is about as thin as it could possibly be. I know I've said that a million times. Yeah, probably it can handle 550 pounds like it says, but I'm not really gonna be testing that out. I do feel confident sitting in it and even standing on it for a short period of time, but I don't expect this to last very long. As the sun hits it over time, it's gonna get brittle and it's gonna break. The proof of that is it came out of the box with a piece that was already broken. Another good note I can give is when I contacted the company support, they were very friendly. They didn't question it. They didn't ask for proof or anything like that. They just asked what piece was broken and they immediately sent another piece. You know, I'm not a 5-star resort or anything like that. And I am gonna be just putting on my muddy shoes or taking them off and putting them in this compartment. So I'm not really worried about that. It's kind of a bummer that I had to pay extra to buy a cushion and I paid extra to buy a cover for it. I'm hoping that by covering it every time I'm not using it, the UV rays won't damage this as quickly, and maybe this will last even 2 years. So yeah, furniture's tough, especially on Amazon. It seems like a lot of the stuff either isn't as big as I expected, or it's just about as cheap as it could possibly be. It's just the world we live in. Getting good quality stuff is just super expensive. I would imagine something like this made out of actual wood would probably be what, $400 or $500, maybe more. So for $170, I guess at least I got something. All right, that's all I got to say. I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Thanks for listening.